Well, hey everybody, this is Josh Nelson with Plumber and HVAC SEO. I want to thank you for joining us for today's webinar on Google My Business. Throughout the course of the webinar, we're going to be talking about what's recently happened where Google changed from Google Places and Google Plus Local to what's now Google My Business. We're going to talk about what that means, kind of show you what the new dashboard looks like, answer some of your questions, and talk about what you need to do in order to get ahead of the curve and make sure that you're positioning yourself as well as possible when someone's searching for you in the Google Map listings. Now, as the owner of a plumbing or HVAC company, you know that the number one place people are looking when they need your services is Google, Yahoo, and Bing. They're going to the internet. And beyond that, statistics tell us the majority of the population, when they search, their eyeballs go straight past the paid listings to the organic listings. As a matter of fact, the number one place within Google when someone runs a search for local services like your plumbing or HVAC business is the Google Map listings. And that's what's being pointed to here on the arrow where you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It was not long ago, just about a week ago, that Google introduced their new Google My Business. And what you're going to discover throughout the course of the webinar is, first of all, what is Google My Business, what this change means to you, what you need to do on your end, and some updated strategies and techniques for getting ranked on the Google Map listings in your area. And I want to tell you, we've got a lot of people on the call, but this is a live webinar. So if you have questions, the whole purpose of a live webinar is so that you can post those questions, we can try and talk through them together, get your questions answered. So there's a question box where you can just type in your question. I'll see it come through on my end. I'll do my very best to answer it right away, live on the call, perhaps at the end. Or if for some reason I can't get to it, I will definitely get back to you offline after the webinar to respond to that specific question. So what is Google My Business? Well, Google's created Google My Business, which is a one-stop shop for small business owners looking to increase their visibility within Google Search, Google Maps, and Google Plus. And users will actually be able to access their applications in one place. Now, what's really interesting about Google My Business is that it's completely replaced the old Google Places. So if you were to go right now to google.com/places, which was the place where you would have claimed a Google Map listing, updated your company address or your categories or your descriptions, that will now take you to a dialog box that looks something like this that says, hey, we're now Google My Business, where it actually takes you to a new URL, which is google.com/business. And what is this Google My Business? If you've been paying attention to Google Maps and the way Google Maps is controlled over the last, let's just call it 3 to 5 years, there's been a lot of iterations. There was a time where Google Maps was controlled by just MapMaker, and it was just a function to get into MapMaker and adding your address. Then Google introduced this exciting thing called Google Places, where there was a dashboard where you could go in and you can upload up to 5 pictures, up to 10 videos. You could be creative with your categories. And this was the place that you finagled your map listing so that you could rank for as many keywords as possible in your area. Then Google transitioned away from that to Google Plus Local. And over the last year and a half, it's been a pretty confusing thing. You could actually claim a business still on Google Places. You could recreate the listing on Google Plus Local. And a lot of you have been in a state of limbo where you're not really sure where you update, modify, or control that listing. And so there's been a lot of questions in the local sphere. And it's been very unconcise, to say the least. And so with Google's new platform, Google My Business, the idea is now they've eliminated Google Places, they've centralized Google Plus Local, and you'll be going straight to google.com/business to control how your business is represented on Google's properties throughout the web. And so again, it's one-stop shop for updating your business information adding your photos, checking your reviews and responding to your reviews, and using Google+, which Google+ is the Facebook type social media platform for Google. It also has the interesting ability to integrate information from Google Insights, reviews, Google Analytics. You can even host a hangout with your followers, which doesn't apply all that much, in my mind, to your plumbing or HVAC business. So what do you need to do? So there's a lot of different things you can and should do in order to really get ahead of the curve. And we'll go through this throughout the course of the presentation, but I've created a cheat sheet for you. And this cheat sheet basically takes that to-do list and gives you a specific plan of attack on how to make sure you've done everything that you should do to put your best forward on Google My Business. And if you want to download that cheat sheet, you can just go to plumberseo.net/cheat-sheet, and you'll get to a place where you can download that cheat sheet. And really what that's going to do is move this webinar from being just a sit and listen and don't take any action webinar to more of a workshop where you'll be able to go through and say, okay, here's exactly what I need to do in the next couple days in order to make sure I'm fully up to speed with Google My Business. And so if you have the time, if you have the resources, I would go to plumberseo.net/cheat sheet right now and print out that cheat sheet so that you can track along with me throughout the webinar. So the real thrust of this is, how do we get ranked on the Google Map listings? What do we need to do given that there's a new platform in place in order to put our best foot forward to make sure we're ranking on the map listing when someone types in your city plumber, your city plumbing, your city emergency plumber, your city AC repair, your city heating contractor. And not too dissimilar to over the last couple of years, there are really three key elements to getting ranked in the Google Map listings. The first is having a claimed and optimized listing now at Google My Business. And I'll share some best practices for claiming and optimizing that listing. The second is having a lot of web references of your company's name, address, and phone number. So citations on websites like Facebook, on City Search, on Magic Yellow, on eLocal Plumber, on DexKnows, all of these online directory listings. If you're in those places with your consistency of your name, address, and phone number, Google hits their Google Map database, matches it, and says, okay, where else is this company's name, address, and phone number referenced? And if you're in a lot of these different places, Google says, okay, this must be an authoritative company, and that is a strong factor in how you're going to rank in the map listings over time. And then the third major critical element is online reviews and having real reviews from your real customers in your true service area. If you've got these three elements stacked in your favor, where you've claimed your map listing, you've got a lot of consistent, accurate citations across the web, and you've got a lot of online reviews from real customers, not just on Google Maps, but on Google Maps and the other online review sites, you're going to be very authoritative and ultimately rank well in the map listings. And of course, there's another element, which is helping Google understand what your true service area is. So let's kind of break these elements down and kind of go into depth with you on how to do these different pieces. The first thing you'd want to do is go to google.com/business and either claim or update your Google My Business listing. I'm going to assume if you're on this webinar that you've been in business for some time, that you've got a Google Map listing, and you're going to be working off some existing information that's on the web. If you're not, it's a very simple process. You would just go to this same page, you would say add listing, and you would add your details, and Google walks you step by step through that process. That's all done at google.com/business. Now, assuming you do, like I said, have an active listing, there's going to be one thing you need to know, and that's your username and password that was used to claim your Google Map listing. And so whether you claim that listing on Google Places or you actually did it on Google Plus Local, you should have a Gmail account and password or an email account and password that would take you into your Google My Business listing. If you don't, I'm going to encourage you that you find whoever it was that claimed the listing for you, whether it was an outsourced provider, an independent party. I would reach out to them and say, hey, I need to get my Google username and password that you used to claim my map listing so that I can get in and make the necessary updates, make sure I'm optimized correctly, and make sure that I have the right information on my Google My Business profile. I don't think there's any conflict of interest here. This is your company, right? Google is the #1 place people are looking when they need your services. There should be no reason that they wouldn't be able to provide you that username and password so you can just go in and double check your settings. A couple things you want to do within the listing. So when you get into google.com/business, you'll get to a page that looks like this, and you can hit the edit button, and you've got control of certain things. You can change your name and your business address and your contact information. Some very specific things I want you to pay attention to in Google My Business to make sure that you're following the rules and that you don't have anything that's going to prevent you from ranking well on the Google map. The first thing, which is pointed to at the very top, is your company name. And this seems pretty obvious, right? Oh, well, my company name is what it is. But you'd be surprised if I looked at 20 different Google My Business listings. Probably 11 or 12 of them have incorrect information on the company name. And that's because a year ago, 2 years ago, it was pretty popular to say, okay, here's my company name. I'm going to put a little dash, and I'm also going to include additional keywords. So instead of the plumbing doctor, I'll put the plumbing doctor dash Falls Church plumber, and try and get additional keywords in the company name field because, well, golly, that's going to tell Google that I should rank for more keywords. That, in today's market, is a major no-no. So you want to make sure you look at that business name field and make sure it's just your company name with no additional information. Below that, you've got the address and really the information about where you serve. Use a real business address here. Don't try and use a P.O. box or a mailbox, etc., or a UPS store address. There was a time you could do that. You could have a different P.O. box address in multiple different markets and start to rank in 5, 6, 7 different cities. Google's really wanting to serve real, authentic information. And that's why they're looking at the consistency of the name, address, and phone number. That's why they're looking across the web. And I'm pretty confident now they've got a database of the P.O. boxes and the mailbox, etc., and the UPS stores, and they're flagging those addresses that clearly aren't true locations and dropping them out of search. And I haven't seen it with my clients, but I've seen it with other people that do this on their own, where they've basically fallen out of the map listings because they were using a fake address. So use a real authentic address, ideally your warehouse, the actual physical location that you work out of, or in the worst case scenario, a virtual office where you have a unique address with a unique suite number that's not shared by any other companies and that you can list and Google would recognize. It needs to be a place also where you receive mail. So the big gotcha there is don't use a P.O. box. Very rarely do we see P.O. boxes rank well in the map listings. Below that is your phone number, your website address, and your email address. You need to use a local number here in the phone number field. So when you're looking at this section and you're looking at how your number is being referenced on the web, don't use an 800 number and don't use a tracking number. A lot of companies are moving towards, oh, let's track everything, right? Let's have a tracking number on Google Maps. Let's have a tracking number on Yelp. Let's have a tracking number on City Search. And it's very easy and cost effective to get a new number for each one of these directories. What we're finding is Google considers your name, address, and phone number your thumbprint, and it should be the same across the web. And if that thumbprint matches up and it's the same on Google and Yahoo and Bing and City Search and Angie's List, that matches up and Google says, okay, this is authentic and this listing should rank well in the map listings. However, if you're using different tracking numbers throughout all of your different online directories and on your website, Google tries to find a good name, address, phone number match, and it's a mismatch in every place they look. And this could be a reason that your company might not wind up ranking as well as it could in the map listings. So use a real local number. Don't use an 800 number. Google wants to serve local listings. And for the most part, use your main authentic number. Don't use tracking numbers that are different throughout the web. If you are going to use tracking, try and pick one online tracking number. Okay, this is going to be the tracking number that I use, and use that same number on Google, on your website, on City Search, on Yelp.com, on Angie's List. That way at least Google can find that consistency. But still better than that is to use your real authentic number, the one that you set up way back in the day when you first started your business. That's the best practice. Use your real authentic phone number. Categories, we're talking about a plumbing company, so it would be plumber. If it was an HVAC company, it would be air conditioning contractor. Used to be Google had a number of different categories. With this latest change in Google My Business, they've really narrowed it down. So you want to find the one category that applies to your business, maybe two or three if it's there. Google's not letting you create your own categories now. So you got to choose the category, the bucket that makes sense, and as you're looking through this, just look at that category and make sure it's correct. Below that, we have our hours of operation. And if you're a true 24/7 provider where you're answering the phones and you can dispatch 24/7, you want to use 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. That way it's showing it. If you really only answer the phones between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., you probably want to put that in that area because Google doesn't like the sense that somebody could think that you're open and try and call and not get a live answer. You will find, though, if you put 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you look at your Google Map listing or your Google My Business listing, at one of those times outside those hours, it will say this business is closed. So if you're a true 24/7 service, you want to make sure your hours in the Google My Business listing reflects that. You now have the ability to upload as many pictures as you want. If you've been through Google Places or Google Plus Local, on Google Places you were limited to 10 photos and you wanted to try and maximize those photos to the best of your ability. With Google My Business, it's really unlimited. It's tied to Google Plus now. You can add as many pictures as you want. The one best practice I'll share with how you're going to use imagery on your Google My Business listing is try and be as authentic as possible. It's easy to upload 15 or 20 pictures that have no resonance, that don't really have any value. Try and have your logo, a picture of the owner, a picture of the team, a picture of the trucks, a picture of the office, a picture of your equipment, and all of these pictures or all of these images are authentic, right? So when somebody gets to the listing, they get to see a sense of what your company is really all about as opposed to just stock photography. And when you have the choice between, do I put a picture of my truck stacked up or do I put a picture of the team in front of our building, or better, the team all standing in front of the truck in a group, go for the latter, right? Go for the opportunity to put your real people in the pictures in that area. Now, one of the things I get pushback on in terms of images sometimes is, oh, well, we've got 30 guys, but we've got a lot of turnover. So I don't want to take a picture of my team because then I'll have to change it again every single month. And that's a great way to never get anything done. Oh, I don't want to take the picture because everyone's going to leave. Don't worry about people leaving. The picture is a representation of the team. It's not the real team. Nobody's going to come to the office or call you guys out on a service call and say, hey, where's this guy? I didn't see him within your company. That's not the point. Just go ahead and get the team together, even if it's not the entire team. Get in front of your trucks. Take that picture. That resonates a lot. Those are the types of images you want to put there in the picture area on the Google My Business listing. In terms of the introduction, you have a lot of room to put copy here. Don't use this as an opportunity to stuff plumber, plumbing, emergency plumber, drain cleaning, water heater repair. Use intelligent copy that speaks to somebody that's trying to choose a plumbing company or an HVAC company or whatever service you provide. So use that area just to write a compelling message. We offer 24-hour emergency service, 100% guarantee, upfront pricing, friendly and knowledgeable contractor who arrives at your door on time in a uniform. Use that kind of language instead of keyword stuffed language. And then one of the cool things now with the Google My Business is down towards the bottom where you'll see the last arrow on the page. You have the opportunity to see what your business actually looks like in Google Search, on Google Maps, and on Google Plus. So after you update your listing, hit the Done Editing button, check out how your listing is showing across the web, and it gives you a good idea of what you're going to look like after Google runs its update within a 2 to 3 day period. So again, just to recap some of those best practices, company name should just be your company name. Have your website address. It's a great link. Don't use 800 numbers. Use a real physical location as opposed to a P.O. box or a mailbox, etc., or a UPS store. Upload pictures, leverage personality, and pay attention to your categories and your hours of operation. Make sure it matches up with the reality of your company. Now, beyond the basics of claiming your map listing, one of the reasons we see companies not ranking in the map listings is because there's duplicates. And so Google says, what's the company name? What's their address? What's their phone number? And somehow along the way, there was more than one listing created. Maybe it was intentional, maybe it was by accident. And when Google finds duplicates, sometimes it drops both listings out altogether. So what you want to do is you want to look, and if you log into your Google My Business portal, sometimes you'll see something like this where there's 2 listings in the dashboard, and you want to get rid of the duplicate one. It's not adding any value, it's not showing up anywhere in search, and you want to erase it. And so it wasn't all of that self-explanatory to do this, so I created some snapshots for you to follow along when and if you see this in your dashboard. You would just hit the listing. Up at the top, you'll see a red banner that says this page has been blocked because it's possibly spam or duplicate. You would hit the verify button, scroll down to the bottom, there's a delete this page option. Hit, after the dialog box, delete the page, and kind of checkbox everything out and hit delete. Obviously, don't rush into this. If you're not 100% sure that that's the duplicate listing and that's the one that needs to be updated, kind of cool your jets. Make sure that you've got the right one because you don't want to accidentally delete your primary map listing. So what are the new ranking factors? Google does not publish a document that says this is how we determine what's going to rank in the Google map listings. They don't publish any of that. This is kind of conjecture based on all of the blog posts that are out there, all of the recent information on what Google's looking at to determine what's going to rank well in maps. And it's also based on our experience with our clients and kind of testing what works and what doesn't. And this is what we think are going to be some of the new ranking factors outside of what was prior to the Google My Business being updated. The first is the number of followers. I'm going to show you in a visual how you can see how many people are following your local business. We think that that number is going to be a factor in rankings. Not to say go on Fiverr.com and purchase 10,000 followers, because Google does look at the follower profile. So if you've got a business that's in Falls Church, Virginia, and you've got 6,000 followers, and 90% of them or 97% of them are outside of Falls Church, or they're outside of even the United States, Google knows. I mean, Google has the IP address of the person's profile. They also have, is that a real person? Do they actually use Google profiles? Do they have Gmail? Are they on YouTube? What's their IP address that they're checking in from on a consistent basis? So quality is more important than quantity here. You want to put a strategy in place to get your real, authentic customers that have Google accounts to follow you and not just a bunch of bogus accounts. We think Google's going to be looking at the frequency of posts. So Google My Business is directly connected to Google+, which is the social media platform for your business on Google. And we think having consistent updates being pushed out is going to be a factor, as well as the engagement of the followers. So if you're putting out a daily post and a couple times a day somebody replies, oh, wow, that's really cool, or hey, thanks for sharing that, we think that's going to be a factor in how Google determines whether you're an authentic business in the true service area that you claim. And if you're authentic and you're more authoritative, that means you're going to potentially rank better in the map listings. And then the other one, which I haven't listed here as a new ranking factor, but it's not all that new. Rankings have always kind of had reviews be a big piece of the equation, but number of online reviews. And same with followers, not just a quantity of reviews, real reviews from people with real online profiles in your true service area. I think that all of these variables are going to be very important and things you want to pay very close attention to as far as how you're going to be marketing yourself through Google My Business. So there's a visual up here, the plumbing doctor out of Falls Church, Virginia, and I circled this just so you can see the number of followers. I think that's going to be an important factor. You want to make sure that you're getting that number as high as possible with your real customers in your true service area. Right within the new Google My Business dashboard, you're able to see your online reviews. You're able to not only see what your star rating is and how many reviews you have on Google, Google's also now scouring the web and pulling in your reviews from other sites like YP.com, like merchantcircle.com. And so that 71 reviews from across the web really is a pretty cool indication of how many reviews you have that Google's recognizing, and that's a major factor in how your company's going to rank in the Google Map listings. One cool feature here is when you click that Manage Reviews button, you'll see your reviews on Google. You can respond to them right there within the dashboard, which is great. So when somebody says something positive, spend a few minutes, say, hey, thanks for the review. We really appreciate the opportunity to serve you. If they write something negative, hey, I'm really sorry to hear things didn't work out. We're trying to provide the best service possible. What could we have done differently? And being proactive with how you respond to even negative feedback can have a great impact on how people perceive you in your marketplace. Insights, right there within Insights, you can see how many people saw your listing, how many people clicked on it, how many new followers you have. This is kind of cool to look at, but really what I want to emphasize in this screenshot and in this whole section is that Google's tracking this stuff. Google has the data. They can see how many clicks you got on your listing. They can see how many followers and what the velocity of new followers is. And so if Google can track it, they can definitely apply it to their algorithm. So you want to pay close attention to, are you getting new followers to that Google My Business listing on a consistent basis? And are people interacting with what you're posting? So some of the things we know, tried and true ranking factors, right? These things go back years and years. The things that we've found really determine whether a company will rank on page 1 or whether they're going to be ranking on page 6 or page 7. And it's really about having a claimed and optimized Google listing on Google My Business now, having lots of citations that reference your company's name, address, and phone number, and having online reviews. These are the 3 real critical factors that are tried and true that we know if you get these 3 things right and you've got a real physical location in the city you're trying to rank, you will tend to outrank the competition. So we talked about how to claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. So you want to go in and follow that process. But the second one is establishing your name, address, and phone number across the web with consistency of how you're being referenced. And I've got a little visual up, and it might be hard to see on your screen, but really what it's showing is all of the different places and all the different data providers that Google's looking at to determine who you are as a company. And there's things like Universal Business Listing, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Kudzu, there's City Square, there's eLocal Plumber, there's Angie's List, there's Yelp. These are all online profiles or online directories that list companies. And Google wants to see that you're in these various places, because if you're not, what, are you a brand new company? Are you not legit? But if you are, well, you must be a solid organization. Now, what I see in a lot of cases, though, and the reason I say establish consistency of your name, address, and phone number is I find companies that are very large, very well established, been in their area for quite some time. They don't rank well on the Google Map listings. And what has happened is there's a lot of fragmentation of how they're being referenced on the web. So if we go into Kudzu, they're listed with one name, address, and phone number. But if we look at Yelp, it's a different name, address, and phone number. And if we look at Hot Frog, it's some variation thereof. And so you need to spend some time, if you're really going to rank well on the Google Map listings, isolating. What's my true company name, address, and phone number? How do I want to be referenced online? And then go into each of these online profiles one by one and make sure that you've got that consistent so that Google's not seeing fragmentation. They're seeing this is this one company, this is how they're referenced across the web, and we found that when you get that right, the way you rank in the Google Map listings is significantly stronger. So I've got a quick question here from Alex. I'm going to see if I can address this right now. So Alex says, can you go over the instructions again for deleting duplicate Google Plus page? Sure. And Alex, what I'll do, I'm going to send a recording of this presentation after the webinar, and I can send you the slides as well. So it'll walk you step by step through that process. But I'll send that afterwards. I think that's the best way to handle that. But thank you very much, Alex, for your question. And anybody else that has questions, this is a live webinar, so I love it when we can interact and we can talk, and I can address some of your questions right on the fly. So some of the citations that you want to make sure you pay attention to: Bing Local, City Search, Yahoo, Angie's List, Judy's Book, Local.com, Merchant Circle, YP.com, Dex Knows. You know, there's a lot of online directories that apply to your plumbing or HVAC business. There's actually probably about 250, and so you want to make sure that you're in the major online directories with the right information. And so Scott, hey, thanks for chiming in. He says he wants a copy of the webinar as well. Absolutely. Those of you that are here and with me, I will be sending out a copy of this so you'll have it. George had a question. He's saying, is there a way to get a list of the directories to our field? Let's get the directories to our field. Hey, George, clarify that question for me, and I'll try my best to answer it. Kim's asking, what's the best practice for getting Google reviews? We ask, but most people don't have Google Plus accounts, and they don't want one. That's a great question. That's actually exactly where I'm headed next. So I will be addressing that. That's a great question, and there's some things you can do to get reviews, and I'll kind of share those as we go. Examples of plumbing directories. Yeah, George, so I have a resource. If you email me or anybody else emails me, I have a resource where I have all of the most authoritative online directories that you want to be in for your plumbing or HVAC business. So if you send me an email, I'll send that to you. Another option is just to run a search. Plumbing directory, HVAC directory, but we've done a lot of that homework, so if you send me an email, I'll be glad to send that to you. So on to the next factor, right? We talked about claiming the map listing, we talked about establishing consistency of your name, address, and phone number and being in the online directories. The next really critical element is online reviews. And so how do you get real reviews from your real customers in your true service area? And really, I feel like the best way to do it is to have a process in place where you're asking for reviews on a consistent basis. And there's a lot of tools that can help automate this. I'm going to be talking about a tool that I think works really well. But even if you don't have any technology, if you're not doing anything fancy, all you have to do is develop the process and systematize it in your business. And so what we find to be good is to do it in two different ways. The first wave, or the first pass, develop the names and email addresses of all of your customers, your sphere of influence, your past customers, and put it into a simple document, like an Excel sheet. Here are the customers, here are their email addresses, and put together a basic email that just says, hey, thanks so much for your business throughout the years. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you. We're in the process of trying to develop our reputation online and would love it if you take a few minutes to write us a review. And give them a direct link to the various places where they can write your review. Now, like I think like Kim was saying, not everyone has a Google account. Not everyone wants to create a Google account to write a review for you. So I don't really necessarily think you want to force them to Google. You want to give them options. So in that email, you would say, click here to get to our Google listing. Click here to get to our Angie's List listing. Click here to get to our YP listing. Click here to get to our Yelp listing. Give them like 5 or 6 options, and people will gravitate to the online profile that's most comfortable for them. So if they're a Yelp user and they write Yelp reviews after every restaurant that they go to, they're going to see that Yelp link and just jump right on Yelp. So give them options and let them choose. So that's the first pass. Send an email out to the customer base saying, hey, thanks for your business. We'd love it if you'd write us a review. The second pass, and I think probably the more important effort, is to make sure you've got a process where you're systematically thanking your customers after service and giving them options on how to write you a review. And so again, in that specific vein, we try and take 2 approaches. The first is the analog approach, and that's print out some business cards or some postcards that are thank you cards to say, hey, thanks for your business. Would love it if you'd write us a review. If you would, go to yourcompany.com/reviews. And on that page, have those links where they can write you a review. And so that's an easy process. Now your technicians are trained after the service. Say, hey, thanks so much for your business. Here's a card. If you take a few minutes to write us a review, we'd really appreciate it. All you have to do is go to this website address and choose the profile that you like and write us a review. We'd really appreciate that. That in and of itself will increase the number of reviews that you're getting on a consistent basis, even if that's all you did. Now, to take that to a better level, or to a level that's going to generate even more reviews, is to send an email after service. So have a template developed, set up either MailChimp or Constant Contact or just a basic web form on your website where you can enter the customer's name and email address. And after every service call, have that email go out. Hey, thanks so much for your business. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Our goal is to provide 100% customer satisfaction. And if we didn't deliver that, please give me a call and let us know. But if you had a great experience, we'd love it if you'd share that. And if you would go to one of these various places to write us a review. That's not super hard. It's something you can set up. Just have an email go out after each service call, and you'd be amazed at how the velocity of reviews that you have within your business increases. And when I'm talking about optimizing for the Google Map listing, we showed you on the new Google My Business, Google's not just showing you your Google Map listings, reviews, they're showing reviews that happen on YP.com, on City Search, on Yelp.com. And so Google has the ability to pull the reviews from across the web, and they're looking at the overall online reputation, not just your Google My Business reputation. So let people choose the review profile where they want to write those reviews and get them online. So one of the tools that we found to be real beneficial for getting online reviews is to leverage technology. And there's a system we're using right now called Nearby Now, and we tend to implement this for our clients, and it runs on mobile devices. And I talk a little bit about having it be set up so that Google understands what your true service area is. As the owner of a plumbing or HVAC business, you're not like a dentist. You're not like an auto repair shop where you have a physical location and your customers come to you. And so Google in that case says, okay, this is your address, and so you're probably within a 5 to 10 minute radius. If you're a service provider that goes out to people's homes, it's a totally different thing, right? Google doesn't really know. Do you serve a 5-mile radius? Do they serve a 15-mile radius? Do you serve a 30-mile radius? And so you want to do something to help Google understand what your true service area is. And the concept behind Nearby Now is your technicians, for the most part, have smartphones. They have Android phones, they have iPhones, and ideally, you'd have them install this application on their phone, and as they're going about their day, they would take out the phone and they would check in. And the check-in data, or the location from where that check-in took place, would be captured because all these phones now have GPS coordinates. And through a piece of code, you can now pull that check-in information onto your website and have a heat map that shows, okay, your service area, based on where true authentic check-ins are taking place, is this area on the map. And Google looks at schema, it looks at H-card format. I'm not going to get too technical on this presentation, but now when Google spiders your website and it gets to your homepage or it gets to one of your city pages, it can see where your team has checked in with H-card and schema data behind it based on real authentic check-ins, and we found that to be a real powerful way for Google to understand what your true service area is. And so the second step to this tool is, after they've checked in, because we want them to check in and create that information for the website and help Google understand the true service area, they would press a button, type in the customer's name and email address, and an email, kind of like the one I was talking about before, that's already been written, it's already queued up, would go out to the customer. It just says, hey, thanks so much for choosing us. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you and would love it if you'd write us a review. So we found this to be a real powerful way to automate the way that you request and get reviews from your real customers in your true service area. And of course on that, if you're interested in learning more about that tool, please feel free to reach out to me, send me an email, and I can get you more details on how to implement it in your business. The other cool thing we like to implement on the back end of this is a reputation monitoring system or reputation filtering system. And the way it works is, first of all, the system will scour the web, kind of like what Google is doing now with Google My Business, and find all your reviews, the ones on Angie's List and City Search and Yelp, and put a widget on your website where it will say, okay, right now you have 70 reviews, right? And so now you're showing your customers when they get to the site, this is a really authoritative company. Look how good they are. Look at the great service they provide. And it also provides a widget that you can put on your reviews page that shows all those reviews and where they're happening across the web. Now, the cool thing about it is, as customers write new reviews, and if you've got a process in place where you're giving a manual card, hey, please write us a review, and you're sending an email after every service call, you're going to get more reviews. Now you really want to be paying attention to what people are saying. Are they saying good things? Are they saying bad things? What's happening? So it will let you know. You'll get an email that says, hey, you just got a review on Yelp, or you just got a review on Angie's List, good, bad, or indifferent. And if it's 4 stars or higher, so if it's a good review, it will showcase that on your website. It will hit that little sidebar that the red arrow is pointing to, and it will update on the reviews page of your website. Really powerful stuff to help really showcase the positive information that's happening within your company and to keep you abreast so that if you do get that 3-star review or that 2-star review, that you can address it immediately and either talk to the customer offline or in a public space, right? Hey, we're really sorry. What can we do to make this right? Because a negative review can really have a very positive impact if you handle it correctly. Now, I see that I have a couple other questions here, actually a number of questions. So let me just kind of pause for a second and address some of these. So Alex is asking, if we have 2 locations, is it possible to add 2 addresses on the Google business account? If no, do you suggest creating both? So the answer to this question is yes. If you have 2 legitimate locations for your business, and that's really what I want to emphasize. If you have 2 legitimate locations, you've got an address A and an address B, and they're in different parts of town, they're in different cities, you can do that, right? If you look at Roto-Rooter or you look at one of these big companies, you'll see they have multiple locations kind of all over town, and they can rank in all of these different markets. The caveat is, 1, it's a real location, right? It's not a home address. It's not a P.O. box. It wasn't set up just for the sake of trying to get ranked on the map. 2, each location needs to have a unique phone number. So in this case, location A is at one address with one company name, and location B is at one address with one location name. You want to use a different phone number in both of those listings. In addition to that, you want the landing page to be different. So let's just say location A, you've got your listing on your Google My Business, and Google's totally okay if you have multiple locations. That's fine. You would go in and you would land it on yourcompany.com/location A. And the name, address, and phone number that's referenced on that page of your website references location A with that unique phone number and that unique address. Location B would land on yourcompany.com/location B with that name, address, and phone number. That way Google has a real clear understanding of what those locations are and that they're 2 distinct locations. So I hope that answers the question. You can do it. I don't encourage you to do it if they're fake, right? Google can start to see through that. So Lindsay asks, the problem our company's having is our company only shows up if you search specifically for our company. And these reviews required to even be able to show up in the Google map period. So Lindsay, that's kind of a loaded question. It depends upon how competitive your market is. Depends upon how many other other plumbing or HVAC companies are in your market. Depends upon the size of the market. If you're not ranking on the Google map right now and someone types in your city plus your service, it's probably because your listing's not authoritative enough. And it goes back to the 3 steps I just talked about. Do you have it properly claimed in the Google map listings? Have you cleaned up any duplicate listings that might exist so Google dropped you out? Do you have citations? So is Google just seeing you on Google My Business, Or are they seeing you across the web and all of those other places? And do you have online reviews? If you've got 20 or 30 or 60 or 70 other companies right in your same neighborhood that provide the same services, Google has to determine who's going to be in spot A versus spot D versus spot G. And all other things being equal, the company that has more citations, that has more followers, that has more online reviews appears to be more authoritative, and that's what Google's going to serve because they want their customer who's searching on Google looking for information to get the best information possible. So, can you rank without reviews? I've seen it in certain markets, certain less competitive markets. However, if you're in a competitive market, you better have all of those things stacked in your behalf if you want to rank well. George is asking what was the name of that app, and it's George in Sacramento. The name of the app is Nearby Now, and if you shoot me an email, I can get you a lot of details on what it is and how you might want to implement it in your business. David Vidal is asking, is that check-in an app or is it integrated to Google? Is it like a check-in on Facebook? The answer is it's an app. It's not actually integrated with Google. It's a separate app that your technicians would install. They would check in when they're in the field. That information would populate to your website, and it passes really strong geo-modified signals to Google. So it's not like an app where you check in on Facebook. It's a separate thing. So David Vidal is asking another question. He says, what would happen if we already have 5 Google Plus accounts with 5 different addresses for our business? Do we create 5 different Google My Businesses, or can we create just one and integrate all those locations into just one account? And David also, he was the one that was asking, can I have multiple locations? And he said that yes, they're real. Ideally, I'd like to see you have them all in one centralized platform, because when you start to have Google account 1, Google account 2, Google account 3, it starts to feel like you're trying to game the system. Where if you have it all on one centralized account, that's the right way to do it, and that's the way I would encourage you to do it. Right within your Google dashboard, when you go to google.com/business, you would see a different place where you can see each one of your locations and have different, what are the reviews for this location? What are the statistics as far as how many times did I show up and how many times did I get clicked? So good questions and good interaction. I appreciate it. Brian's got a question. What was the name of the app? Again, it's called Nearby Now, and feel free to shoot me an email if you want more details on that specifically. Excellent. So that's the review piece. If you put a system in place, whether it's this or something different, where you're consistently thanking your customer and making it easy for them to write reviews for you, the probability of ranking well on the Google map listing is going to be significantly higher. So what are the main things you need to do? And again, I've got a cheat sheet for you where you can go download this. It gives you step-by-step what you need to do with the recent changes in the Google My Business, just like we talked about throughout the course of this webinar. You can download that at at plumberseo.net/cheat-sheet, and that should really help drive what you need to be doing as far as claiming it, making sure that you haven't gotten any infractions, making sure that you've cleaned up your duplicates, and putting a process in place to get your online reviews. So that's plumberseo.net/cheat sheet, and I can say with a high degree of confidence, if you follow this process and you do these things, you'll be well on the way to ranking very well in the map listings in your market. So a quick case study on this. Company out of Oklahoma City is Hull Plumbing. And when we started with Hull, he had tried a lot of different solutions. He tried building a website himself. He tried to hook up with the guys at Yodel, and they did some pay-per-click for him, and just didn't get ranked on the Google Maps, didn't get much business via the internet, and was struggling. And we were able to come in and implement the strategies that I'm talking about here, and some of the ones you might have heard me talk about on our other webinars, as far as building out the website, optimizing for the different keywords, building authority through citation development, link building, consistent blogging and content development. And now if we run a search for Oklahoma City plumber, he's the spot A guy in his market. Oklahoma City plumbing, very strong in his market. But really more important than that, what I want you to see is what happened within his business. Over about a 9-month period, he went from 0 or very few visitors to his website to 1,191 visitors. And what that's meant for his business has been huge. This is directly from Rich Hull at Hull Plumbing in Oklahoma City, based on getting his internet marketing right. This doesn't even really include pay-per-click advertising. There's a lot of things you can do above and beyond organics. This is focused specifically on the organic side of the equation, getting ranked in the map, getting ranked in the organic non-paid listings. He says, I've been with Plumber SEO for about 2 years. I can tell you it's had a major impact on the growth of my business. Since starting with them, my revenue's doubled from $450,000 to $1.1 million, and my staff has grown from 5 guys to 13 guys. Prior to connecting with them, I tried a number of other companies and approaches. I spent a lot of what I call stupid money trying to find the right company or the right strategy with virtually nothing to show for it. When Josh showed me their plan and laid out exactly what they were doing for me, I felt confident I'd find the right company to partner with. They did exactly what they said. The service was professional and the results speak for themselves. I cannot be happier that I secured an exclusive relationship with Plumber SEO before one of my competitors did. So I hope you've gotten a lot of great value from this. I hope you start to understand what Google My Business is and how you can implement it in your business. If you'd like some help, not just on the Google My Business side, but in general, in getting your internet marketing strategy right to get more calls, more leads, and more profitability, I'd love the opportunity to work with you. And the next steps, really in my mind, like Rich Hull was mentioning his testimonial letter there, we need to have a plan. We need to develop a strategy. And it really starts with the keywords. We need to know what people are typing in when they're looking for your services in your market. And so that's where we would want to start, is help you develop your keyword list and determine where you're ranking right now. So if we went and we looked at your city plumber, your city plumbing, your city emergency plumber, your city drain cleaning, your city water heater repair, are you on page 1 or are you on page 6? Where are you today? And that's what we want to do, is start with that. Where are you ranking right now? What are the conversion elements? A lot of our clients can rank well, but if the website doesn't convert, if it doesn't compel someone to pick up the phone and call their office versus the competition, it's not going to result in an increase in business, like an increase from 500 to 1.1 million. So we want to make sure we pay attention to the conversion elements on your website, and then look at the off-page factors. There's a lot of things that are going to determine whether you're ranking on page 1 or page 3. And it's about the links, it's about the citations, it's about the reviews. So what we're going to do as part of our strategy session is look at that, right? Where are you weak and what's needing to be fixed in order to really get you ranked better and get your phone ringing better online. And if you'd like to schedule a strategy session with me, you can just give me a call directly at 866-610-4647 or go to plumberseo.net/apply now. These strategy sessions used to be free. I don't do them for free anymore. And the reason I don't do them for free is because there's going to be some time. We got to look at your keywords, we got to run a report, and then we got to spend probably a good 30 to 45 minutes action planning with you. And I only want to deal with people that are serious about taking their business to the next level and serious about potentially doing business with us. I will, however, give you a free copy of our program, the Your 2014 Online Marketing Plan, which goes in depth on really how you should be marketing your plumbing or HVAC business online, as well as a free copy of our book, The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors. That's more than a $50 value, but if you'd like to have that strategy session, all I ask for is a $50 deposit, and we'll do this. We'll invest the time, and we'll really help you figure out where you're weak and how you can take your company to the next level. So if you'd like to take me up on that $50 strategy session, just give me a call at 866-610-4647 or go to plumberseo.net/apply-now. Now, there's still a lot of you on the call, so I want to answer any other questions that you have let's see. I'm going to go through. Brian Wells says, very helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for attending the webinar. Again, it's pretty exciting what Google's doing with Google My Business. I think there's a lot of things you guys can do to take action right away. Download my cheat sheet, start to implement the plan, or give me a call and let's talk about how we can do this for you. So Kay says, great information. Thank you. David says, thanks. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time, and it was quite an audience that we had for this webinar. So thank you all. This will wrap it up unless you have any follow-up questions. Otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you again on a potentially on a future webinar or talking with you sometime soon. Thanks so much for your time, guys. So Mike was asking, great job, where's the cheat sheet? For that cheat sheet, you would go to plumberseo.net/cheat-sheet. That's plumberseo.net/cheat/dash, like hyphen sheet. I'll post it here as an answer. So you can just go to that link. I just posted it in the box here. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll look forward to talking with you again soon.